right, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome back, everyone, to Mindful Mornings. This is the third week of our program. We are now in the third pillar of performance and health, and that is nutrition. The past couple weeks, we've talked about respiration and hydration, and now we're on to nutrition before we get into movement and recovery. So before we get started this morning, just taking a moment to push back from your workstation, settle into your chair. If you're sitting, if you're standing, just find a nice location. If you're laying down, find a nice comfortable position where we can just rest quietly for a moment. And let's begin by just taking a quick note of where we are in space, whether you're in your office or working remotely or off-site, wherever you are physically, take note of that space. Paying attention to what it feels like, what it sounds like, what it looks like. If there are any odors in the environment, pleasant or unpleasant, without any reactivity or judgment. We're just settling into our space, simply becoming the observer of our own environment. You can allow your eyes to close if you're comfortable with that. As you tune into your own physical space, taking a moment here to check in with the body, noticing how the body feels physically. There could be some tightness or some aches and pains, or perhaps you feel incredible this morning. Again, without judgment, just simply noticing how your body feels physically. Bring your awareness into your own mind, noticing where your thoughts are. You may be thinking about your to-do list today, or what's on the agenda or the calendar, upcoming meetings, tasks, etc. Or perhaps you're reflecting on something that you did yesterday, or maybe forgot to do yesterday. Again, without any reactivity to the calendar, without any judgment of something you did or did not do yesterday, just simply notice where your thoughts are, without control. Becoming the observer, watching them pass by. And tune into that heart center, that emotional space, that spirit, noticing how you feel, noticing what's on the heart, what's on the chest. And paying attention to how these three entities, our physical body, our mind, our thoughts, and our hearts, are all connected by way of our breath. And without changing your breath, simply notice where your respiration cycles are, paying attention to the inhalation as well as the exhalation. Just noticing. And as a group this morning, let's take one purposeful inhale through our nose, expand our diaphragm and fill up our lungs. And exhale nice and slowly through the mouth, releasing anything in the body, the mind, and the heart. And pay close attention to how easily that next breath comes. Perfect rhythm, perfect flow. And as we rest quietly, use that breath as your anchor to remain in the present moment. you've become distracted at all by something in your body, a wandering thought, a sound in the environment, or something on your heart, gently notice and draw that awareness and that focus back to the breath. Again, let's take another slow inhale through the nose, filling up our lungs, pausing momentarily at the top. And as we exhale, just gently welcome some movement back into your body and release your awareness back into your environment.
Thank you so much, Ford. That was beautiful. And good morning, everyone. So glad you could join us again this morning. We've suggested that you start your day with a big glass of water or two for a variety of good reasons. And hopefully you got some good information from keeping the fluid consumption log over the past few days. But in regards to our third pillar of health, nutrition, making water your first meal of the day is important because it fires up your metabolism to receive nourishment from the first food you consume during the day. So Hippocrates said, let food be your medicine. We all know food is fuel, but food is also information that every cell of our body uses to do its job. Our cells, all 70 trillion of them, need a steady stream of vitamins, minerals, nutrients, and enzymes to not only function optimally, but to recover every day. So the quality of the food we eat matters a lot. Consuming nutrient-dense food is a daily dose of medicine our body needs to stay healthy.
It's interesting when we present to individuals, the question when we get to nutrition is always, okay, what's the best form of a diet then? And of course, there are a lot of different forms of diet, but Reita and I really broke that word down. And when you look at the definition of the word diet, all it means is limitation, restriction, and or control. But really, when you start to dive deeper into the word itself, really what diet means is habitually consumed foods. So foods that you habitually consume on a regular basis. And as Rita indicated, nourishment provides our body with the requisite energy that we need to perform at an optimal level, as well as sustain that performance, health, and well-being. So we know that fruits and vegetables and proteins, just to name a few, are really, really important as far as a healthy diet is concerned.
Yeah, and so foods we habitually eat. So that means we each have our own diet. But interestingly, right now in the United States, statistics indicate that most Americans are on what is termed a starvation diet. That sounds like an oxymoron, but a starvation diet means that the foods we habitually eat are not nourishing us, that the foods we habitually eat don't have enough good information in them. So there's plenty of food available. We're not hungry, but we're starving because we're not properly nourished by our food.
So does anyone have any specific questions on nutrition, just in general? Before our next session, we're going to dive a little bit deeper. But any questions on nutrition or anything that we've covered thus far?
How does coffee play into starting your day? That's typically the first thing when I get up in the mornings around like 5:15, I make a cup of coffee. How does that play into nutrition?
That's a great question, Betty. And I think it really plays, as we step back just a second to the hydration pillar, it plays into hydration, meaning the first thing you do or the first thing you digest in the morning should be water. Because remember, as we sleep throughout the night, we're depleting our energetic resources by way of hydration, by way of nutrition, by way of all these other facets. So when we wake up in the morning, we kickstart our day with caffeine, which is a diuretic, which dehydrates our system. We're already fighting an uphill battle throughout the day. So I'll leave it at, I wouldn't say stop drinking coffee tomorrow. It's just incorporate water before you consume your coffee in the morning, if that makes sense.
It does.
Okay, cool. And it does play a role into nutrition, but we're going to hold off on that until Thursday because it definitely, caffeine changes your metabolism and your metabolic rate. So Sarah has a question. What is the best indicator of what we're lacking or getting enough of is taking note of all the foods we've taken. Basically a food log or a food diary. So that is definitely a great way to track things, Sarah. And that will be one of our suggestions in our follow-up session on nutrition is to have another 5-day consumption log specifically related to nutrition. Good questions. So we'll leave you all with this. We talked a little bit about diet. We talked about certain things that are important in regards to nourishing our bodies, as well as our minds and our hearts. It's the whole vessel, it's the whole system. On Tuesday, we're going to reveal to you all what we think is the best form of a diet, as well as the best fast food on the market. And it may not be something you actually have to leave your house for. So stay tuned for Thursday, and thank you all for joining us this morning.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.